What's going on? What is going on? What is going on? Let me change that camera. That camera is not looking right. That camera is not looking right. We have a better camera than that. What's going on, people? On I did. There you go. What's up? What's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige, the Prestige family? Welcome back. We took small break, but we uploaded some videos. Hopefully, you caught some of those videos. But yes, we're back here today. Let's have a quick masterclass, right? Let's have a quick masterclass inspired by the First Lady, Michelle Obama. Today, we're going to talk about that 50-50 BS, okay? We're going to dissect that together. Your comments are welcome, okay? This is a masterclass. We're going to talk about it. I got, about 50 different clips to play with you, okay? I'm kidding, not 50 clips, but I got some clips that we're going to cover because I don't like to talk from my ass, okay? This is what people are talking about. This is what people are misyanning about. So it's time we talk about it. Let's get into it, right? Relationship, no be beans. Relationships, no be beans. Relationships are not your mate. Relationship, no be your mate. So it's understandable that in an age where people know everything, they're completely getting it wrong. And that's why I'm here to talk about this. I'll be here. I'll showcase some examples, dissect some things based off your insight. If you have a pushback, I appreciate it. I appreciate all types of smoke. But if not, I got something that I want to share with you. Okay. So, but anyway, nonetheless, welcome back. And if you're part of the replay gang, please mention yourself in the chat. Don't just come here and watch hours later and not say, hey, you were here. Please let me know you were here. I can tell you were here because I can see the numbers, but I like to see when you tell me that you were here. Okay. And plus, not only that, it helps the algorithms. It helps the computer know that, hey, somebody liked what we're doing. And it tells more people because the more the merrier. Okay. Nonetheless, we're going to be here talking about this kind of stuff. All right. So shout out to you. Shout out to everyone. Hey, by the way, super chats are welcome. Donations are welcome. Okay. It helps us. It helps us. We're working on the studio. I'm on the road, as you can tell. This is not my normal studio. So, but we're going to put some work back in the studio, and the more you can help, the better, So shout out to you. Let me see. What's going on, Quincy? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Adeyemi said she was going to go sleep, but shout out to Adeyemi nonetheless. Thank you so much for stopping by. And, the first thing that we want to touch on today is this one right here. I was listening to a conversation right now on Clubhouse, the audio app. It's called audio app for a reason. People tend to have a lot of opinions, but they're afraid of showing their faces. Okay? Yet they cry wolf about being cancelled because they run their mouth online. But, I guess, they want to be able to run their mouth. So I think that's part of the problems. People not being able to own what they have to say with their full chest, including the consequences. Let me make sure that my audio is good here. Let's make sure that we're talking into the mic. Okay? Including owning what they have to say with their full chest. Of course, they know they can get cancelled. Of course, they want to blame that on the whole world being feminized, right? But, you and I here, Prestige family, you've heard me enough, hopefully, to know that that's, in a lot of ways, that's cap.
Stop the cap.
But nonetheless, we're going to address it. To a large extent, yes, the media has this negative effect on the masculine energy, okay, and the masculine frame of the men of our society. That's neither wrong nor right. It's just what it is. That's basically the effect of soft life, okay? It is what it is. The more better things, the less war we have to go fight, the less people are drafted, the more feminine they are. It's not a crime. It is simply what it is, okay? Now, that's on a macro level. Shout out to Ade Watson, that we kept yelling macro level. Yes, that's on a macro level. However, the question of the room says, do masculine women attract feminine men? If we are talking about attraction between a man and a woman, you're not talking about macro levels. That's disingenuous at best. You're talking about the context of a romantic and sexual relationship. We're talking about law of polarity, sexual polarity to be precise. So how did we get into the media is emasculating you? No, within this context of between you and this woman, did you attract a masculine woman? Did you attract a feminine man is the question. So it is true that at a macro level, there is a place for a conversation about masculinity and femininity. In fact, a lot of time, the earth is actually used as an analogy, right? Between the sun and the earth. The sun representing, I guess the sun representing, the earth representing feminine energy, the sun, I don't know, but there's some analogy there that makes sense, right? But let's bring it down between a man and a woman, right? In this social construct, it's a social construct. Yes, partly because of biology, too, because there's testosterone involved in this as well. But that particular hormone gets to be produced more within certain contexts too, right? Within that, there's a lot going on there. But let's not complicate it. If you tend to notice that you keep attracting masculine women, there's a reason. The number one first reason is that yes to this answer, feminine men tend to attract masculine women. And the opposite, okay? Now, in terms of masculine women attracting feminine men, okay? The spelling is off a little bit. That's feminine men. Let me retype it. Let me get it right, all right. Do masculine, let's talk about this because I want to make sure that you guys get this right, because this is happening. This is a fact. It's happening, okay? But a lot of people are not paying attention to it. And some people are not going to pay attention to it until the opposite effect of not being aware starts to happen. And that's natural. That's fine. Okay? Feminine men. Law of polarity. So I'm going to link also this particular question to the topic of the day, which is about 50-50 and the sorts. Okay? Yes. The masculine women attract feminine men. Okay? The reason why I would say no to this is because, honestly, still in this social construct, the man is leading. Either he realizes it or not. Either he's aware of it or he's not. Okay? Women or the feminine energy does not carry seeds. Okay? It receives, multiplies, reciprocate. It's an incubator. It does not produce anything. It just is. But the men carry seeds in millions, okay? The same thing can be applied to the masculine energy, okay? It creates structure, safety, security. It brings order. The feminine energy is just beautiful as it is. And the moment you try to put structure and order in the control of the feminine energy, is chaotic because it does not give a shit about your feelings. Okay? Particularly the energy, the dynamics of the energy within romantic context. But even when you start to apply it to everything else, it's true. Okay? Now, people can easily get into the space of semantics and say, but you mean like, listen, call it any word you want. Okay? What I'm saying is that in this context I'm talking about, if you're a feminine man, you will attract, it's more so the other way around. You will attract a masculine woman. Not because she wants to be masculine, but again, there's a void. Something has to bring structure, safety, security, and order. And if she doesn't feel safe and secure, she will protect herself, including she will attempt to protect you. Not because she's been deliberate or intentional about that. It's just the natural order of things. It just makes sense. Okay? How you doing this, Susan? Good to see you. It just makes sense. Okay? It's not your fault. It's not her fault. It is what it is. Is it your fault that you're feminine? No. Like, I don't get anything from telling you it's your fault. What I can offer you is that you should be aware if you tend to attract masculine women. There's a reason. Never mind all the semantics. Never mind the dictionary meaning of masculine or feminine. If you tend to attract undesirable type of vibe, energy from your woman, there is a reason. You are attracting it. Attracting it doesn't mean it's your fault. There's something about you that's attracting that situation. And if you disagree with me, it's no wonder why you don't have any control. It's no wonder why you feel helpless. Don't argue with me. Argue with your destiny. It is what it is. Like, start thinking as a man. Start thinking it is what it is. Start learning how to face reality. Stop arguing with reality, because reality, you can avoid it all you want. You can't avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. You're creating the result you're creating because of a reason. You create it because you carry the seeds and you sow those seeds. And so whatever has been multiplied and reciprocated back at you, you're responsible for it. Oh, but what if she does this way? She doesn't allow you to lead. Dude, you also can walk. You can also walk away. Why are you not walking away when it's not conducive? Or why? Because you're afraid of losing everything. Again, masculine frame in the mud. You're scared of losing everything. So if you're scared of losing everything, how is that showing up in your vibe, in everything, right? Ladies, if you are masculine by nature, maybe because of the way you were raised, maybe you were just raised to protect yourself, provide for yourself and all that, and you just can't trust. You can't trust. You have to bring the structure and the order. And if you can't see it, you're not comfortable. If that's how you came from your family house to your husband's house, that's going to be chaotic. Because at the end of the day, your natural is feminine. You're going to attract a feminine man who is okay with that, but eventually he's going to resent you because it can't be in his purpose. And you can blame it on social construct, you can blame it on biology, whatever you want, you can blame it on. But it is what it is. Okay? At some point, he's going to want to feel like a man. And if he can't, he's going to turn around, because remember, it's a feminine man. He's going to turn around and blame you for not allowing him to lead. Somebody can relate with that right now. Because again, remember, feminine energy, it's never its fault. Everything made it do what it does. Everything else, it doesn't take responsibility. It's never to be held accountable. Because it just is. But when it's misplaced, it's inside of a man in this social construct, it can be completely chaotic. It's not a good look. With room for some exceptions. There's some exceptions. They're comfortable. It is what it is. They're the exceptions. They're the minority. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about a typical man and a typical woman right now. So if you're creating this dynamic, yes, you can attract each other. Okay? You can attract, the sexual polarity is undefeated. Okay? Equilibrium must be created. Polarity must be created. Now, before you get to it, it can be chaotic. And if it's not natural to the individuals that are carrying this energy, you're going to continue to have chaos. The chaos particularly is the equilibrium being created. It doesn't feel good to you or your partner, but the equilibrium must be created. So you need to be aware of these things. It's good to be aware of those things. And I don't want you to overthink it. If you haven't experienced any kind of crisis that will make you have to, if you can't comprehend it, it's okay. Just stay in your natural, okay? And look forward to sexual polarity. If there's chaos going on a consistent, your chaotic argument and toxic argument, there's a reason. And it's not necessarily someone's fault. Because when you think of it, it has to be one person's fault, right? That person is going to feel it, even if you don't say it in words. They're going to resent you. You're going to create more of what you fear the most because you're busy pointing fingers. You call it holding accountable, but you're just pointing fingers. You're forgetting that you're in a romantic relationship. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Okay, hit that like button. I'm going to play this video. This is the video that inspired today, because again, when men get into a space where they are asking for 50-50, that right there is the result of a feminine man. He calls it logic. Of course, he's going to call it whatever rolls his boat, right? Right? He can call it whatever semantic words you want to call it, right? But we're not looking at that. We're looking at the behavior. We're looking at the result it's creating. We're looking at the results they're attracting with respect to reality, right? Am I going to hold women accountable in this? We'll see. Let's find out. Let's find out. Okay? I can start like this. As a man, I'm not going to hold you accountable. Even if you're a man, I'm not going to hold you accountable. I'm just going to give you some things. At the very minimum, there's a man like this who is thinking this way. Maybe there's some insight you could pick up from there, right? Maybe not. But you've heard now there's a man who exists like this, who think like this. Maybe it's useful, because whatever you think at the end of the day,
You're right.
So let's play this video that inspired today's topic. Let's get into it. We're going to get into this today. Let me see. Let me just make sure this is removed. And let's talk about this one right here.
If I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody was always giving way more. Someone always needed a different kind of thing. You have to evolve with it. And so, yeah, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30% because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look. Yeah. I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required. And I feel bad when I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon. They quit before they've really, played out the full scenario. If I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody.
All right. She's repeating it. Now, I'm going to come back to this, okay? A couple of things I want you to hear there, right? There were times she felt. Feeling is not necessarily reality, but it's real, right? Feeling is not necessarily reality, but it's real, because it's going to affect your mood. It's going to affect how you show up in the relationship. It's going to affect your partner, because your partner knows you when you're in a good mood. He also knows you when you're in a bad mood. And, it tampers with the polarity, the sexual polarity, right? Feelings over everything else. That's the reality. Fantasy is that logic and facts and stats over everything. That's fantasy. That's a fantasy. It will never happen. In fact, as a matter of fact, everything you're considering, facts, statistics, logic, and facts, they're recorded feelings. They're just recorded feelings. Okay? They're old. They're not real time. Okay? You're going online to pull up stats and statistics and all this craziness. But these are old data. And while you're putting all your focus and reading all that information, you're basically disconnected from what's happening presently in front of you. And then it's getting worse for you. And then new data is being recorded. And by the time somebody is putting that somewhere online, it's already too old too. All the while, time is wasting. You're wasting life away. And you're missing out on love and life. You're shooting yourself on the legs. Because you're obsessed with knowledge and you're missing out. You don't know how to tap into wisdom. You don't know how to think a little bit deeper. You don't understand what they call insight. You don't know that even in data science, there is data, but then there's information. And then there's visualization. We want to see what this looks like in real life. And then we need case studies. And then we need to apply it. Application is another level of madness entirely. But of course, what do people in this generation do? Let's see what they do. Because we're going to come back to this video because she was dropping some gem, but it will make more sense when we come back to this video. Let me play the next one. The problem here is really the modern times. It's making men more feminine. And when there's no structure, safety, security, women don't feel safe, they naturally have to protect themselves. Precisely become masculine. Energy, okay? Let's play this video.
Together too. If I got my shit together, you need to have your shit together too. If I'm living out my purpose, you need to be living out your purpose too. Don't be coming in my life wanting me to fix you. Don't be coming in my life trying to get shit out of me when you.
All right, so already, if you listen to that vibe already, I don't know who this guy is, so it doesn't really matter. I'm speaking to his talking points particularly. The spirit of what he's saying is already competitive in nature. It's competitive in nature. So, and you may say, oh no, I don't go on a date and say this directly to my woman, but your energy is undefeated. You carry it to show. In fact, it's worse because she can't really, because at least if she knows what she's dealing with, she can pinpoint to avoid you or decide she wants to stay with you. But what's going to happen is that she can read the energy, right? Not deliberately, but she can feel it. It's not going to work out. You might be able to smash, maybe because you're a good dresser, but you can't keep a woman around you. If you're a good dresser, you know how to laugh, make fun, make people laugh and all that kind of stuff. You might be able to attract women. Ladies, the same thing. You might be able to attract a lot of men. But if there's trouble in maintaining relationship, it's not because men don't want to commit. As a matter of fact, most men actually want to commit. But they won't be able to commit because they are scared. The same thing. A woman can't hang around you because something is just not connecting. You smash a couple of times and then you're like, nothing is happening. It's just, eventually, some of them even wait until you're replaced. And what happens? You say they cheated on you. That's how it works. But look at the energy right now. This energy is competitive already. Why do you need to go into a romantic relationship if you're going to carry this competitive energy? The energy is not necessarily saying anything wrong. As a matter of fact,
You're right.
Let's keep playing.
Ain't bringing nothing in return when they ain't no return on my investment. We ain't doing that. I ain't.
Return on investment. Okay? Return on investment. I just want you to start thinking again, competitive, right? Marketplace. I use the word marketplace sometimes. I use that to just paint a little picture of reality for you in terms of nurturing your relationships. But to be honest with you, that's really a bad word when it comes to romantic relationships. If you're already thinking in those terminologies, quote unquote logical, factual, data, scientific, don't hurt yourself. It's pointless. Don't go into a romantic relationship. You're not going to be able to sustain it. Okay? You won't be able to. At best, again, you can have lots of carryover partners. That's about it. Okay? But mid to long term, it's going to keep falling apart because it's combative. Right? Now, this man talking like this, if he's a typical man, if he's trying to be with a woman, that woman is going to receive that energy and multiply it for him. Not what he's saying. What he's saying is one thing. The energy is two different things. Right? But what really happens in relationships is energy, feelings, not facts. Not quote unquote reality. That's later. The reality is actually the result you will create and the one that you're creating in real time, right? So So imagine a typical woman being an incubator and receiving it. What is she going to do with it? Right? When she multiplies and reciprocates, what is it going to say? It's going to turn around and say, you don't bring me no peace. Let's keep going.
Saving nobody. I ain't saving no chicks. That is not happening. We ain't saving chicks in 2022, 23. You gotta understand, like, you are him and not.
He's blaming it on 2022, 23. He's right. But here's the problem. Mother Nature don't really give a shit. Because remember, it's feminine. It doesn't. You will create the result you will create. Equilibrium must be attained. There must be a balance. Something will balance out whatever you're bringing out. And what that looks like sometimes is chaos.
To say, women, you are the prize too. But you're not just the prize. Don't get it twisted. You're not just the prize, because men can't be the prize if they don't have a certain status in life. They don't make a certain amount of money. They're not living in their purpose.
First of all, why are men looking to be the prize and not already the prize? See, if you're already the prize, gentlemen, I can use marketplace with you. In this marketplace, you will be scooped. Women will fight over you. They will compete with each other. They will cheat on their own men to get with you. If you're really that hot in this marketplace. Oh no, but that's not reality. Men just don't attract women like that. 30% of men are virgins under the age of 30. Cap. That part right there.
Stop the cap.
Men that are men, they don't last in the marketplace. That's just the bottom line. They might even marry a few times before they get it right, but somebody will keep scooping them off the marketplace. Okay? So let's keep going.
So women, we require the same shit. You just not that chick if you just got a fat ass and you look good. No. What the hell?
So that part is wrong. Men don't require the same thing that women require. We just don't. We're settling to say we want it too now because, again, the society is making men more feminine. I need to be heard too. That's true to a large extent. And you should be aware of that, ladies. Okay? But at the same level, in the same way, no. Two different things. A man and a woman are just two different things. But how did men get into a space where they're now competing and saying, we want that too? And then we wonder why sexual polarity is going. It's called polarity for a reason. Opposite signs, opposite attracts. Okay? Even in same gender relationships, one is usually more masculine than the other. At some point, you got to pay attention to the natural because it's undefeated. It's like the truth. One day.
What have you accomplished in life? How much? How much money you making? Where you live at? We ain't just taking any chick, and women shouldn't take any nigga. So it ain't no double standard. It should be equal across the board, bro. We not taking nothing less than what we are, unless you into saving women. Fuck that, man. Hell nah. No. It is new days, new time. Y'all better stop playing.
All right, so no, you shouldn't be saving women that need to be saved. But I'll tell you like this. See, first of all, that guy was all
Stop
cap.
the cap.
All right. Nonetheless,
You're right.
let me explain that. Okay, this is one of the problems with a lot of talking points. They have elements of truth laced all over everything. And for the most part, they are right in terms of facts, logic, data, and all this kind of stuff. Like what they're saying makes logical sense. It's just that in real life, right? In a practical world, it falls on its face. Why? Because the person who is claiming to be logical right now is going to get caught up in their emotions too. Their energy will show up more, faster in a natural relationship than their ability to be logical. So, in essence, they're not as logical as they think they are. At least not when real life is playing a role. Okay? So, that's the first video I wanted to go through. Just Jay said, do I attract feminine men? You might. You might. How you doing, Just Jay? How are you? People love double standard until it doesn't benefit. Double standard will always exist. That's a fact. Why? Because we're different. That's what creates sexual polarity on both sides. The moment you come in with this energy,
If I'm living out my purpose, you need to be living out your purpose too. Don't be coming in my life wanting me to fix you. Don't be coming in my life trying to.
it's feminine energy. Masculine energy don't give a shit what you bring to my world. I carry all the seeds. I carry the seeds. I can spill them all out. I will produce another 10 million tomorrow. That's masculine energy. Okay? In fact, the only thing it's looking for is fertile soil to sow seeds in. That's the only thing it's looking for. And if it doesn't see that, it will keep moving. Okay? It will keep moving. So anyway, let's get deeper into this. Let's get deeper into this. Nurse Rosie says, shout out to Nurse Rosie. She said, I was about hitting my pillow and I saw this notification. Happy Thanksgiving advice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, Lady Navor, good to see you. Good to see you. Let's dive into the next video. I want to play one video right now. Okay, this video is very, very important for me to play. Okay, this video will give us some context as we're diving through the other videos. I will translate for you. The guy is speaking some Yoruba and some Pidgin English. I will translate for you, and I'm actually going to give you a Yoruba proverb, and you can take it to the bank. Okay, and I'll tell you a lot of, again, when you lay stuff with truth and then you actually lack wisdom. Now, it's a skit, but it makes so much sense in the way the modern men and women think. They want to think so logically and then they completely miss it. And it's obvious by the results they're creating. Okay? Not just single people, all of the above, in all of the status. From dating to single, from dating, single, to relationship, to marriages, to divorce. A lot of people are delusional. So, let's get into it. Let me play this video for you. This is going to help us add some context, and then we're going to circle back to Michelle Obama. Okay? What she said, I guarantee you, will not make sense to a lot of people. You know? If they really understand what that means in real life. You know? But let me go into this folder. Let's bring out the video called Okuta. Let's play it.
Tẹ́lẹ̀ mo máa ń wo Yorùbá níran ni, but now I have to speak out my mind. Yorùbá sọ pé.
Okay, so he said, let me translate for you. He said, before I used to look at Yoruba, pretty much Yoruba people as a joke. But he has to address something. Okay, so he now said Yoruba people say.
Sùúrù, a máa ṣe òkúta jiná.
He said Yoruba people say patience can cook stones, okay, like rock. So what you're looking at is basically 3 pieces of rock inside water, and he has it on a stove and he's trying to cook it, right? So Yoruba people actually do have that proverb, okay? The proverb says patience can cook rock, like a stone, rock, until it is soft. You know, like you cook yam until it's soft. You cook rice until it's soft, right? So Yoruba people have that proverb that you can actually cook, like patience can actually cook rock until it's soft, right?
Mo wá fẹ́ mọ̀mọ́ ní sùúrù yìí. Mo fẹ́ ní sùúrù yẹn, mo mọ̀ òkúta ilé náà is going to.
So he said he wants to be patient. He intentionally put those rocks inside of water. We call it stones in Nigeria. Sorry, Just Jay. Right? He actually, we call it rock too, you know. But he actually put them in water and he wanted to exercise this patience today, right? Now, everything he's saying is making logical sense so far, right? Because he's trying to what? He's trying to disprove the proverb that patience will cook 3 pieces of rock. Okay?
16 hours tó ti wà lórí iná. Ẹ wo, kò tí rọ̀.
He said 16 hours that those rocks have been on the stove inside hot water, and he touched it and said it's not yet soft. Okay?
Tí tí òkúta yóò bá jiná, I'm ready to waste 10,000 kg of gas on this stone. And
he called it stone, right? He said if this rock does not cook, it's been 16 hours, right? He's ready to waste, gas in Nigeria is the gas we use for gas cooker, right? For the stove, right? It costs the average person actually don't have access to that, right? So he's going to be extremely patient, and let's see.
if this stone doesn't solve,
He said if this stone doesn't soft.
Honest, òkúta ò lè jiná, à ń tanra wa ni.
He said we're deceiving ourselves that stone, rock, will never cook until it's soft. He's making a point. It sounds all logical, right?
Sùúrù kò lè ṣe ẹ̀wà jiná mọ́ láyé tá wà ẹ̀ ń wá ìmí sánú ayé.
Oh, dear. All right, so now, from a logical standpoint, you know what I'm about to do, right? From a logical standpoint,
You're right.
but this is also the dumbest human being ever. Okay? That wasn't the point of the proverb. So some of your gurus are running around YouTube talking about happy wife, happy life. That's some dumb stuff. That wasn't the point. It's a proverb. It's a hyperbole. Okay? You're going to have to, simps, you have to think a little bit deeper. I know you like to think on a simple level. You have to think a little deeper for it to make sense to you. Right? Yeah, application. There's a disconnect between application and knowledge. Because when it comes to knowledge, you tend to get that right because 1 + 1 = 2. But in certain contexts in life, 1 + 1 becomes 11. Why? Because there's that X factor that you can't really put numbers on. Listen, it's still logical. It's just that you're basically you're dishonoring and you're discounting the fact that there are other forces that you can't see. There's the X factor. There are things you can't touch, right? That we call them X because you can't really put numbers on them. Oh yeah, when it comes to romantic relationships, they're all over the place. That's one of the things that's wrong with this 50-50 equation. All right. So I thought I would give us some context because I'm going to be adding some more to this conversation as we move along, right? We're not going to be long here tonight, okay? I'm going to add some more to this context. It's not going to be your typical, oh, that makes sense, and we're on a panel and we argue and that makes sense, that doesn't make sense. No. I'm going to try my best to point you to reality, meaning you might not even have proper context to be able to comprehend what I'm saying here, but you will remember this when it starts happening. When it starts to happen, you will remember this conversation. Nurse Rosie say, that's just Jay. That's funny. Don't be too hard on yourself. God has a plan for everyone. You're blessed. Absolutely. Just Jay knows that. She knows that. She knows that. She's a day one here. Literally day one. I trust the path before me. Yep. Certainly. Positive vibes only. Yep. Nurse Rosie gets it. She gets it. All right. So let's get into the next video here. I'm gonna run through some of this video, okay, so that we can get to the gist, the rest of the gist. Let's keep going. This is what dating looks like today, okay? And what people end up doing is that they end up blaming themselves, and you're not going to solve the problem like that. It's better to come into a place of understanding what is going on without pointing fingers at the other party. Because I guarantee you, when you finish looking at this clip, you're going to find something easy to point fingers at, naturally, okay? But let's give it a shot.
All right, so have you been here before?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, excuse me, yes. Can we get some drinks here? Do you want something to drink?
A glass of Merlot.
Yeah. Can I have one of those too, please? Thanks. Hey, so what type of what are you looking for in a guy?
First of all, he has to be an 8-figure earner. I need to have full-on shopping sprees, zero budget. I need to have all of my bills paid, be able to get my hair done, my nails done, and lay around and literally do nothing.
Right. So
She said literally. That's logical.
what do you do?
I look good. Anyway, what do you look for in a partner?
Well, I'm looking for someone who's like has a great sense of humor, ambitious, has some goals set, and just likes to take care of home and the person that she's with, things like that.
Sorry, what?
She did not listen.
Check, please.
All right. So,
My lot?
so wait. So in an ideal fair world, I would basically hold this woman accountable, right? I say, this is terrible. Modern woman, y'all need to fix yourself. Don't go out on a date and not pay attention to the man, right? But I'm sorry, I know better than that. I'm sorry, okay? This dude deserves what he got. What? It's not a fair world. We don't live in a fair world, okay? Ladies, if you're doing this deliberately and you're doing it, eventually you will get caught. Eventually, somebody's gonna find out that's what you're doing. You're finessing people, right? And if they don't find out, that tells you what kind of man we have. Because again, why are you taking someone that you haven't gotten to know to a certain level out on a date? Oh, but you're always blaming men. It's not a matter of blaming men. Men create their own world. Including when things go wrong, they take responsibility. It's not the same thing as blaming yourself. Like, oh, there must be something I missed. Oh my God. At least thank God he knew when to call for the check. All right? So let's keep going.
Graham. I agree that everything in a relationship should be 50-50. In my understanding, 50-50 means that he pays for the holiday and I post pictures with half of his arm on my Instagram.
Did y'all get that? Right? Again, once a man feels the need to mansplain himself, which is what they're doing all over TikTok, I'll play some examples for you in a second. Right? They deserve these types of joke. Now they are the joke. They're the butt of the joke.
I agree that everything in a relationship should be 50-50. In my understanding, 50-50 means that he pays for the holiday and I post pictures with half of his arm on my Instagram.
Right? It's a joke now, right? It's become a joke. So you could never, if you're a man in this generation and you're looking to be heard by the women in this generation, you have something else coming for you. Because you will never, it's just not sustainable. That's just how nature works. It's not sustainable. Somebody said, "But oh, what about all these people that are self-deleting themselves? A bunch of men are suffering and they just self-deleting." Like, I'm sorry. The reality of life, it's not fair. It's never been fair. In fact, the more obsessed you are with fairness when it comes to romantic relationship between a man and a woman, the more you miss it. The more you'll see the world as unfair. Yes, you're a man. You're supposed to be able to produce another 10 million seeds tomorrow. How did you get into a space where you're looking for someone of the opposite gender to be fair with you? All right. Let's block a spammer. All right, good. So, Lady Navor says The Rock, the Stone. Yes, Nigeria translation. Quincy, good to see you, Quincy, again. Because I'm curious how you interrupt the Proverbs happy wife, happy life. I feel like it sends a bad message to couples, especially with the content the proverb is used today. So, that's a good question. So the happy wife, happy life, okay? you really have to bring that down to individual level. You really can't afford to be interpreting that at the macro level. I'm yet, up to now, the only people I heard that bastardize that as a hyperbole are the men that have had terrible experiences, and with women. And they're also coming from a very anecdotal place. And when you look at the very source of Proverbs in the first place, it's general, right? What it simply means is that if you make your wife happy, you will have a happy life. It does not negate everything else that has to happen for that to happen. Like, for example, there has to be an actual responsible wife, right? There has to be a wife who wants to be a wife, right? And that can't be your IG model chick. The only thing I'm willing to guess, because I've never met a woman that says, because I'm happy wife, happy life. They may say it in a banterish way. They may have fun. Like, my wife can come to me and say, hey, can you buy me this stuff? Happy wife, happy life. It's not really my role to overthink that. And then say, no, that's what's wrong with your model woman. Like, okay, maybe not that harsh. I'm over exaggerating, right? But in terms of energy, that's not my space. Remember, that's my wife. It's okay for her to joke around that she wants me to buy her stuff, right? If I can't even take simple jokes, it tells us a lot about what else is going on in that relationship. You're feeling resentful before you start to interpret happy wife, happy life as it must be something negative. That's clearly a woman who is happy, feels safe around you, who want to banter around a little bit. But in the grand scheme of things too, right? If you have a wife at home and she's happy, why are we going to cap that you're not going to feel like a man just because your wife is happy? Because you've done a great job keeping your home together and she's happy. How are we, if you hand your wife, like, let's give an extreme case, you hand her a car key to a Range Rover, brand new Range Rover, and it puts a smile on her face, are we going to cap that that's not going to make you happy? Are we going to cap that that's just not sometimes means happy life? Sometimes it means you're a simp, you're overstretching yourself. But if that's coming out of a resourceful man who is just doing for his wife, not some random chick on Instagram, right? How is that such a stretch for the modern men to comprehend? Why is that such a difficult thing for a modern man to comprehend? Why should we take it too seriously? Is that an indication that we've been taking ourselves too seriously? And it's no wonder why these women don't feel safe and secure, and they can have any fun around you. So that's my interpretation. That there's a reason that it wasn't like, we can't take talking points and then flip it around and say it's making people behave this way. People behave a certain way because that's who they are, not because of hyperboles or proverbs. If a man puts 3 rocks in the water and he starts to cook them, it's on him for being that stupid, for not getting it that the whole idea is patience is never going to be too much for you as a man. Okay? It takes patience to get into a space where you have some stuff that's happening in a relationship and you decide from your masculine frame, like, this is not working for me. I'm going to have to walk away from this relationship. Don't you think that takes patience? It takes strength to not overreact and to get into a decisive place like that, right? But you at least made a choice from you being a man and you're determined that this is not working out for me. But when you don't know how to walk away from terrible toxic relationship, or you're just going to turn around and start to deconstruct everything that people say in society to align with your experiences, it's no wonder why men are creating the result they are creating. And yes, it's men that's creating the result, because if they want a change, men, the leaders of the society, will have to take responsibility without conflicting that with self-guilt. So that's how I think of it. It's just a mindset. It's not necessarily right or wrong, you know. But I think the mindset of taking talking point and flipping it to mean something else, I think that's actually affecting us more. It's making men weaker. They take every word and deconstruct it to align with the bullshit of their past pain. We've known women to do that, but they're women. Am I giving them a pass? No, they also get checked for that in real life. They also have consequences for such behavior if it perpetuates. But the consequences for men are greater because there's no mercy for you. I'm sorry. It's not a fair world in that way. It's a fair world at the end of the day because in love and war, all is fair. What I'm saying is that you're not being fair on yourself, overthinking every word, and not knowing how to have a little fun, a little banter here and there. It's going to work against you as a man in this society. It's going to work completely against you, you know? Yes, I've seen that happy spouse, happy house. Women can say that to themselves. Women can say that. They can flip it. You say, hey, if we're in a situation where we're doing a counsel and he doesn't know how to make me happy, he said, and if she's the one complaining, I have to address her. What do you mean he doesn't know how to make you happy? Oh, because, you know, you spend all this money on this other stuff. And I said, I need to get to the bottom of it. I need to hold you accountable for the things you are saying. Because if you're complaining, you have the power. You have the leverage point to adjust things as well, you know. So I like that phrase, but it doesn't replace happy wife, happy life, right? And if a man is forcing you to say that phrase, is a lame man. It's a lame man. He's overly consumed by bullshit. He has time for bullshit. That's what that is. Okay? It's not about the fact that he's wrong. It's just that he has time for bullshit. His energy says everything. Okay? It's always been a true proverb. People take things out of context. Yes, context matters. And when you have men that don't know how to stay in context, everything must be logical. We've got a serious problem in society. All of us. All of us. Because I got kids coming from behind. They're seeing this kind of stuff on TV, on YouTube. We've got a problem. We've got a serious problem in that space. It doesn't mean a woman should get her way. It simply means a woman's temperament can upset the household. Exactly. Okay? You're not going to have peace if she's not happy. That's all it means. It's not the moment to do whataboutism. Come on, man. I think it's time for me to play a little bit of chaos. Kevin Samuels. We accuse women of doing whataboutism, that we're going to do the same thing, right? Happy wife, happy life. So what about the men then? Like, what are you talking about? The statement is just true. It's just as true as happy husband, happy life too. But that was a proverb in the first place. You're overthinking it. You know, I think it's a good spot to play some Kevin Samuels. Let's play this before we get on.
I'm not working right now, so.
Well, it still shouldn't matter. You should still understand the words you're using.
Okay, I understood what I said.
Ultimately, ma'am, you want to go back and forth to argue. Did you have something else you want to say? Because you can watch the show, you can enjoy it, but at the end of the day, you are unfit for a real relationship. You may have a great body, and lots of guys may want to have sex with you, but I don't think many guys could stand to be in a room with you longer than after the sex is over. You're a difficult woman to talk to. You're all over the place, and you have to be right. Congratulations. You may look great. But what happens when that 25-inch waist and that ass drops at 50 or 60?
Not going to.
Great. Good luck with that.
I'll be good luck.
Bye-bye.
You can't make this shit up, right?
You're right.
So what do men do with this information? That's a show. That's a show. That was a show, okay? He staged, not staged, but those were real people, but it was a show. That wasn't his wife. That wasn't his girlfriend, right? If you ever seen Kevin Samuel engage people outside of this show, you know that he's a respectable person. He knows how to read a room. He's very chilled. He takes his time. He doesn't just, they allow him, they respect him to let him talk, but he knows how to, you know. But what do lame men do, right? They take what he just said, they go on a date and literally show up with this energy. Why are you going on a date with the person you feel like exuding this energy with? Knowledge, right? That moment where you're right and application are two different things. One thing I was planning to do before this man passed away is something similar to what my brother did. Alan Obi of We Need to Talk. which is he started a series called Kevin Samuels Started This Conversation. I was going to do Kevin Samuels Applied. Everything he's saying is right. How do you apply this in real world? How is this applied in real world? Those are two different things, right? Maybe someday we'll still get there, right? 50-50, what does that look like in the real world? Is it even helpful to use that term at all? Because again, you want to show up to your romantic date with a 50-50 energy, you are 100% going to kill the sexual polarity. You will kill it. Okay? If she's masculine enough, you might be able to smash 1 night, 2 nights, but it's not sustainable. Okay? So I'm happy I was able to answer that, Quincy. That was a time when men understood they are responsible for the thermostat in their house. Yep, I agree with that as well. Yep. I truly feel many men have a hard time with responsibility for whatever reason. I don't know, but it's a conversation. Let's keep having the conversation, right? That's my problem with the proverb. It promotes diva behavior among women. Any woman who takes this as a reason for them to misbehave, you just don't need to be around such women. It's really that simple. Okay? Because the meaning of the proverb is still strong. It's still as strong as it gets. It's a good thing for a man to feel like happy wife, happy life. Okay, let me go into my relationship and give. Because that's what I naturally do as a man. I give. I carry seeds. I give. Why? Why not give and take? Because you're going to receive more when you're not focused on taking. You're shooting yourself on the legs when you're focused on taking. It's going to hurt you. When you pay attention to natural order of things, it's going to hurt you when you're too focused on taking, especially if you're the one designed to bring in the masculine frame. And if it's not working, what happens if you feel like you've been giving? Two things. It usually means you're not giving enough to yourself. Second thing, you're giving to the wrong person. You're effectively a simp. That's the only thing. That's your leverage point. Anything else, like things like let's hold all the women in the society accountable. No, there's no better way to tell me that you're really, really a simp. And we need to dig in deeper and extract all the simp elements out of you, because that's going to take a lot of work. Because remember, feminine energy really don't give a shit. It will argue its life to death if that's what it has to be. It's just very hard. You have to hit rock bottom before you can get what I'm saying. If you're trying to get with a typical woman who carries feminine energy, you can't go there and be competing with her in any ramification. You can't afford it. She can smell it. She won't feel safe, secure. She will try to protect herself, aka masculine energy, is going to backfire. And then you're going to have a bad experience and run back into the marketplace and try to protect other people. And then you're going to find the echo chamber of everyone that can relate with you. And it just gets worse and worse. It's a vicious cycle. It doesn't get better. And guess what? All this while there's another market sector, feminine women. But you're busy spending all your time with the wrong people. So it goes back to, what are you spending your time on? What you value, regardless of your intentions, is what you spend your time with. If you find that you're spending a lot of time around masculine women, you're just as toxic as what you're attracting. You're enjoying it. It's addictive. It's like drug. Okay? It's like that high you feel when you eat something that's, is toxic, but in the long run, like tomorrow morning, you're going to have, what do you call it? When you finish drinking too much alcohol, right? You're going to have a headache. But in that moment when you're in that high, that's why you end up in echo chambers, and you know it's not healthy for you, but you can't leave because you can relate. You can connect based off of that experience, but you're forgetting that there are now 8 billion people in the world. Some years I've seen it today. I think it's about the person's character. Yeah, that's what it gets down to. We're individuals. There's only so many people around you at any point in time. Let go of the statistics. Let's see. When my wife uses it, I'm not bothered. Thank you, Quincy. That's the right attitude. It's not a big deal, right? But I hate when other people use it, and men that just want their wife to shut up. Yeah, we can't afford to. It's not just this one, right? It's about everything. And you're gonna hear more of it. I'm gonna take I'm gonna hang out with you guys and play some of the rest of the videos, because all you talk about is the absolutely don't be around such women. Yeah, you get to control that, because if you claim that that's the only type of woman that exists, or it's the Western world, they're just all over the place. Like, they're much more than they used to be, but still, like, come on. You only need to get it right once. You only need a few people around you, and you only need certain type of circle around you, So I am sold now, Ola. You're right. You get what you give out in life. It's always better to give. I'm surprised you're able to convince me on this one. Good nugget. Yeah, I take my time. Anything that's worthwhile in life takes time, but I appreciate you. And I appreciate that you were able to get there. It takes a while because, again, it's easier said than done, especially when the society depends on, what you surround yourself, keep repeating certain type of point, or you keep seeing the same thing. And sometimes it's your algorithms. The kind of video you watch online will keep presenting similar type of videos, right? Because it's just trying to sell market, So, but at the end of the day, there's a few concepts you give, like this one. You give, you get, you give what you get, right? And then there's some other concepts that are timeless, regardless of what's going on in society. Regardless, So it's going to take a while because we have work to do. We got children coming behind. Like, it's going to be you're going to have people try to dig in back to 5,000 years worth of word meanings, and they're like, oh, but this is what the word meant. I'm like, stop. Let's focus on your energy. What are you talking about exactly? What happened? What's the story? Tell me the story. I need to know what happened. But of course not. Oh no, but I can't be on YouTube telling my real life story like that. Like, so what the fuck? Everything you're saying is useless at the end of the day. Because if we're talking in general, so how this person interprets it is how this person is different from how this person interprets it, right? And if we know that we're in a generation where a lot of people are hurting in relationships, what are we doing exactly? We're hurting more people, even if that's not the intention. Oh yeah, but we got to talk in generals. Like, no, you don't have to talk in generals. You can literally go on certain websites and pull out real case studies. Real case studies. What happened in this relationship, right? I'll give you an example right now. I'll give you an example real quickly. Let's see if we can pull out a quick example. Let's see. All right. Quincy, I hear you. Let's see. All right. So look at this story right here. My wife, 35 years old, has made me, 38 years old, feel unwanted for the holidays. And now I'm at home by myself. This is Thanksgiving stuff, right? We've been married for almost 10 years, but together in total for nearly 15. Admittedly, we have hit a bit of a rough patch lately, and space was needed for both of us. This is a real thing in a relationship. This year, we're in line to spend time with our family, 350 miles away. So she flew there a week ahead of the holidays. Everything was fine. It wasn't an argument. We totally understood one another and enjoyed our space for a few days. Okay? It's saying a lot of we. Anytime I'm hearing a lot of we, it's cap. I need to hear I. How do you feel as an individual? Even yes, in a marriage, yes. Yeah, regardless of how much you communicate. Because there's a good chance that when you're busy communicating, the other person is shut down. These are some of the reality we don't like to talk about. What people like to talk about, there's nothing wrong with adults communicating. Listen, this is why the 50-50 thing will fall on his face instantly. Majority of the time, one person is giving, the other person is receiving. Sometimes it flips. It depends on what aspect of life. If you don't like this person enough, let them go. 50-50 will never work. Okay? We would talk through the days, FaceTime, share photos. Every time was fine. Well, she was kind of happy that you're kind of away. She was having a little space, a little breathing room, right? Is that a good thing? It could end up being a good thing. Sometimes people need space. Is that a good thing in this moment? No. Because obviously you don't feel like they should be that way, right? But sometimes you put your feelings aside. Women do it too. As much as the men who feel like to cap about this, women put their feelings aside for long enough for the purpose of the family. But what do? We focus on the terrible examples, right? When you focus on the terrible examples, what happens? It expands. Particularly in your mind, you start to project and think the whole world is like that. Nothing is further from the truth. When this past weekend was getting closer, that's why I did a short, if you haven't seen that short, where somebody said men sacrifice their whole life for their family and women sacrifice their family for their feelings. That's some bullshit. That's BS. While you might have one real life examples that actually happen like that, there's another way interpreting that at another level who is projecting it and casting it on the whole world and say that's how it happens. That's not true. There are honorable men and there are honorable women, and there are terrible men and terrible women. And I switched that up. I said there are men that literally sacrifice their family for a quick nut. You never heard that before? And yes, there are women that will sacrifice their whole family for their feelings. When this past weekend was getting closer, she asked me what day I was coming. And I said most likely Saturday. She remembered a comment made about traffic weeks before when I suggested Monday as a possibility and said she was planning for me to come on Monday. Okay, she doesn't want you around as quick. This is your wife. She must have been feeling smothered. Is she wrong? I think you need a sound effect here.
Well, you're right.
But that's not the main issue. Your marriage is in the wrong space right now. That's much more important. And guess who also has to take responsibility for that? You. It's not the same thing as taking the fault. It's not the same thing as blaming yourself. It's not the same thing as self-guilt. Taking responsibility means you're saying, something is going on. Let's find out. This is my wife. This is the wife that I married. Me as an adult, as a responsible man, let me find out what's going on. Maybe we can nip it in the bud. Maybe it's just a temporary space, right? Well, guess what most people do? They overreact. They get caught up in their feelings. Why? Because they are normal human beings. Okay? But as a man, I would hope that at some point you get to a space that says, I'm the leader. This is my wife. She used to be in love with me. What happened? Why does she want to spend so much time apart? Maybe it's just temporary. She just needs to breathe. No, fuck that. She don't want to breathe. Duty and responsibility, right? That's not the reality. That's the fantasy. And you're supposed to be the one with the red pill. And you're still living in fantasy. Anyway, everything was fine. I'm trolling a little bit. Pardon me, okay? When this past weekend was getting closer, she asked me what day I was coming. Okay, we already went past that. Okay, so she doesn't want you around, basically. Not that quick. She needs to... This man, stay at home. Okay? But that doesn't feel good because you feel unwanted. Ladies, do men feel unwanted sometimes? Yes. Yes, I have to tell you. Okay? Yes, it happens. Okay? Sometimes you're caught up in your feelings. Sometimes you're in your little feminine energy. Sometimes you want to receive too. It's just moments. There are moments like that. But traditionally, men really have very little time for that kind of shit. Okay? But we have men working from home, working 3 jobs, having too much time in their hands, making 3 figures, and they got time for BS. So what do they want? They want women to love up on them too. That's what soft life does. Soft life creates feminine men. Okay? We walked through it and I thought things were okay. See, you thought things were okay. When a man is saying we walk through it, meaning he's made himself equal to his woman. They talked. Okay? So when he sees that the reality is different, from what they talked through, he's now surprised all over again. Usually when people think communication is just talking, it's one person shut down, one person let you get away with the talk. They just couldn't wait for you to get out of their face. The reality is that she really needs some space apart from you. That's the reality. Is she being bad? Yes, she's being a bad girl. She needs some spanking when she gets back to her senses. But what is it going to take to get her back to her senses? The type of patience that it takes to cook stone or 3 rocks until it's soft. What does that mean? It's almost damn near impossible. But when you practice, it becomes easier with time. She feels safer and secure. She doesn't want to go 350 miles away to go and spend Thanksgiving anymore. Is this going to test everything you believe about yourself as a man? Yes. It's easier said than done, especially if there's active crisis like this one going on. See, real life example, right? Real life example. If you want me to do more stuff like this, I'll do it. I do it. Instead of all the lames on TikTok stalking. But anyway, let's see. We talked through it. Okay. You can talk through things, but in this context, clearly he's the only one that talked himself until he probably managed to make her agree. And then eventually she said, I'm going to go. Right. I'm skipping some part of the story, by the way. Friday comes along and she starts making comments about how it's not been enough time. It's been a week by now and she needs a few more days. You're lucky she's still talking to you. Okay. Some people will say, oh yeah, she has another nigga she's talking to. She's talking to somebody else. Is that possible? Yes, of course. Is that likely? No. There's a lot of women that get choked up, smothered until they need space. And if you keep doing it, they will dump your ass. Yes, for a guy on WhatsApp. I'm telling you. Ladies, what's your responsibility in all of this? What are you responsible for in all of this? I wonder if you can leave some comments about this. What are you responsible for if you find yourself in a space where you need space from your husband? And you're a 30-something-year-old woman, 38, 35. You're a woman of a certain age. So you can't just float around life like it's no man's business too. You have to be responsible, right? What could you be responsible for? But anyway, I like to address the person that's complaining. The person complaining right now is the man. So if you leave some comment, I'll read it. I start explaining it doesn't make sense for me to drive down. Okay, so you're explaining. A lot of men end up explaining themselves and they wonder why they're creating undesirable results, only to be cooped up in a spare bedroom working remotely okay. So basically, he wanted to come earlier to come join her for the holidays. She's saying, no, stay away a little bit longer. That's effectively what she's saying. Driving 8 hours only to work, have a day of Thanksgiving, and then turn right around and come right back home just does not make sense. All right. What makes sense to me is that she is effectively trying to be away from you. Okay. Speaking of giving, as a man, what should he be doing in this space? What does she want? What does she want? She wants you to be away. She does not desire you in this point in time. So what are you saying, Ola? Should I give her what she wants? No. You should take what you want. And then you will continue to create this result. Let's keep in mind we're talking about attraction here. We're talking about attraction at the end of the day. We're not talking about your day job. People like to give stupid examples like, would you do that at your job? There's no paycheck here on Friday. But you take care of the household, dude. There's no paycheck on Friday. It's two different contexts. Exactly why you're creating the same results. If a person is asking you for space, there's a good chance you need a space more than her. The reason why you're obsessing with her right now is because you're rejected. Rejection breeds obsession. If you catch yourself, you'll be able to say, you know what? It's a good weekend with the boys, with my guys. Let me go. What about the Thanksgiving? Dude, attachment kills attraction. There will be another Thanksgiving. Clearly, A series of events has led you to this point. It's not a matter of fault. It's attraction. It doesn't have to be your fault. You could be killing attraction with your behavior. Maybe you're lame, you're stale, maybe you're boring, maybe you nag too much, maybe you're needy as hell. Does this story not remind you of a needy guy? Oh yeah, but it's Thanksgiving, we should spend holidays together. Dude, there's a crisis going on. You could die, get hit by a bus before the Thanksgiving gets here. As a man, this is how you think. The heaven is not going to fall out of the skies. My wife is in a space where it's just bad. It's terrible. Who knows what's going on? Who knows? It's not yours to answer. One of the problems with men is trying to answer every question. Why don't you go take a shower, drink some water, okay? Understand that, God willing, another Thanksgiving will come around. Hopefully, our family will be in a better place. But I'm telling you, we're talking attraction right now. There's a good chance you need that space. You can't tell right now because you're obsessing over a woman, your wife, who doesn't desire you in this moment. It's a temporary thing. But you can make it permanent. Right? Be stoic, put your foot down, being fake masculine. You could pop it, you could make it worse if you want. Right? But wait, am I conforming to what the woman wants? You're already conformed, you're being needy. Anyway. See, real life examples as opposed to generalizing. Okay? Alright, so rather than giving a little on her side and saying, giving a little negotiation, 50-50. Okay? Rather, I just jumped and I happened to jump right into a paragraph right here. He says, rather than giving a little on her side and saying, hey, I get it. He's expecting her to be logical. Right? Unrealistic expectations kills attraction. Not just attraction, it kills marriages. Okay? Keep that at the back of your mind. Don't wait until Monday. It makes more sense for you to drive down on Saturday or Sunday. Dude, maybe I should tell you right now. Maybe she's talking to someone on WhatsApp that's making her feel better right now. Maybe. Okay? I know you don't want to think that. Okay? That's not actually what I want you to think. I want you to think best case scenario. What's the best case scenario? Assume best case scenario if you have to make an assumption. Right? What if she just needs some space? What if she likes you so much she realizes that she's losing herself and the last thing she wants to do is destroy her family and she just... What if she's just a terrible, terrible woman and she should just be out of your life? I mean, that's worst case scenario. But let's flip it on the head, right? But what if best case scenario, like, I'm going to give her some space. In fact, I won't call her unless it's been a week I haven't heard from her. Right? I won't call her. Well, you said she's sharing photos and FaceTime, all that. That means she's actively trying to make sure, but she needs some space. Oh, that's too far-fetched for a lot of modern men. They don't get it. Like, it's like, why should you need some space? You're a married woman. Anytime you hear the word should, would, could, there's a man that's stuck in fantasy. He's having a hard time facing reality. Should, could, would. It should be this way. You shouldn't do this way. So the negative is the same thing, right? You wouldn't. The reality is what is going on right now. Your wife needs space. Well, you're hearing it from all I'm saying. There's a good chance you need space. Extremely good chance that you haven't been taking care of yourself, which is why she's taking you for granted right now. Because the person that's in love with you wouldn't want to be away from you. That's the reality. That right there is the reality. But of course, he's playing 50-50. Rather than give a little on her side, I'm getting the short end of the stick. That's what women will say. Okay, visiting my family is out of the question. So she suggested you don't have to spend a holiday together. You could go spend with your family. And then guess what he said? Visiting my family is out of the question, since it would be the exact same scenario. Not to mention put me in a position to, hey, this is the real problem. He's about to say it. Put me in a position to answer questions about why I'm alone. What's wrong with being alone, gentlemen? Why do you need to wait until your wife asks to be alone? What's wrong with being alone, gentlemen? Needy behavior. Needy behavior. Remember, a woman who is in love with you wouldn't want to be away from you on Thanksgiving holidays. That's the reality. Should it be that way? You're right. It shouldn't be that way.
Well, you're right.
But you're also living in a fantasy world. It's not the reality. The reality is that she wants to be away from you. And you need to acknowledge that first before you fix whatever you consider to be a problem. Okay? What did he say? All I've received in return is a basic, you can come text message since I've explained it to her. You've over-explained yourself out of the P. Okay? No apology, no understanding, nothing. Unrealistic expectation. Okay? Unrealistic expectation. You shouldn't be obsessed with apology as a man. Okay? Not with your wife. Okay? A woman who apologizes, they're minority, by the way. The way a woman apologizes typically is change behavior. She will start to extra cater to you. She will rub your feet, take care of you, put some food on it. She will start to cooking extra stuff when she really wants to apologize, but she does it in change behavior. And by the way, over time, you actually prefer that. But again, you're obsessed with right and wrong and logic and fact and all this stupid stuff that really doesn't equate to anything but a dumped man eventually. Okay? That's fine. I don't expect you to beg me. Then why are you saying it? This is another sign of a man who doesn't have his core. I understand him. I have empathy for him. A lot of men are like this. But I have to say it like it is, because you're a man. Because you need to see the world as it is, because there's no room for you to make this kind of mistake. You will end up in a divorce court and you will end up saying things like 80% of divorce are initiated by, she's telling you right now she needs space, but of course you're needy. Instead of you to take advantage of the space, recoup yourself, put yourself back together, you're whining like a little bitch. I need to feel heard too. Men need to feel heard too. Like, okay. No, men need to focus on the results they're creating and pivot and adjust accordingly. And naturally, if you stay in that zone, the right woman will follow your lead. If she's not the right woman, she won't be able to retain, it's not sustainable. She will find out levels. It will hurt, you'll be fine. But maybe at least make me feel wanted and welcomed. He wants to feel welcome and wanted. Eventually, when he ends up in the manosphere, he's going to say fact over feeling. But now he wants to feel wanted and welcome. Feelings. Come on, gentlemen. I feel like the only thing I'm getting in return is a pity invite. So he needs pity now. And I'm sure there's going to be enough women in the manosphere that will pity and want to advocate for him. You know, men too, they need I'm telling you, that's not going to help you. Because if that same girl ends up in a romantic relationship with you, she'll be the first to call you a simp. She will dump your ass. Okay? It's easier said than done. It's easy to stay on a stage somewhere on YouTube and be advocating for men and be having pity for men. But if you engage that, you will hurt yourself. Society is not built for you like that. You are the leader of society. You take charge. You build your life. You create what you want out of life. And it's okay to cry if your results are undesirable. But you got to pick up yourself, like Papa told you once upon a time. Dust yourself up and make the most out of this beautiful life. Because when you do so, you'll probably attract a better version of love. So here I am. It's Monday. I'm by myself. He's lonely. I want to be with my wife. I want to spend the holiday with her. I want to too. Right? Everyone wants that. I'm just saying. Self-control, okay? Understanding there's an active crisis going on. Understanding that it's your responsibility to keep your home together as a man. Yes, a woman can help you keep your home together, but if you keep doing that, The social construct is not designed that way. She will eventually dump you. Sometimes she will dump you for 5 years before she pulls the trigger on the marriage. Or just sit down there and make your life miserable. Which one? Choose one. Pick one. She had an opportunity to say she wanted me. Dude, she does not want you. She does not want you. And it's not funny that she doesn't want you. I'm saying this because I know the kind of people that sneak in here and listen to what we're talking about. Right? So I want them to hear this. What is the reality here? She does not want you. If you want a different result, then you say, let's go back to the drawing board. I'm going to make her want me. That's what I want to hear. What's going on with that? She's acting weird. I'm going to make her want me. You're being a bad, bad girl. You're going to get some spanking tomorrow. That's my new thing now. But instead told me to go visit my family. She doesn't want, I don't know, I got so much more videos that I really wanted to cover. But, I guess maybe I'll run through them in a few minutes here. And that was a hell of an analysis. Many don't understand femininity and masculinity. That's a fact. Well, we don't fall out of the skies understanding it. Sometimes we have to hit our face on the rock in order to start looking for answers, and then hopefully you understand. People need to hit rock bottom before they understand it. I've been watching a lot of red pill guys lately. Guess that's had some influence on me. Yes, Quincy, it's powerful. It will have influence on you. Even on me as a content creator, and trust me, I know this stuff, including the red pill material like the back of my hands, and I have to be extremely careful with it. It's very toxic because it's trying to put men in a frame of mind that's just not natural. You are an emotional being like the rest of us. So while I want you to know the reality of life, I also want you to understand how to deal with women. Trying to, going on a date and arguing with women on the reality of the modern women, that's not going to help you. You're going to hurt yourself more. You should still be able to get out in this world and relate with normal human beings without ending up in an argument about red pill all the time. And a lot of young men are doing it. Every conversation has to be about that. Or they end up running their mouth online and then they slide in somebody's DM and the girl is looking at him funny, and then they expect her to see it differently. Unrealistic expectations. They don't listen. I was just saying this on a panel. Some of them are listening. They're sneaking in here. A very few minority are listening. So I just gotta keep working. And I have to be patient with them because again, if you've had certain type of experience, it's only natural that you flip all the way to the extreme other side, right? So until you find a balance, which is what life is about. Life is always looking for equilibrium. And if you are willing to be the casualty, you will destroy yourself because life will find equilibrium regardless, with or without you. I will only say this: avoid people that speak to the hurt, resentment out many healed emotion. Yeah. Just Jay, I told you she's day one. She's on it. Facts, that's why a woman can say, I lost myself in the marriage. Yeah, most men don't understand what that means. They don't get it. And I understand why they don't get it, because a man's mind is set up a little bit differently. But you're in a space right now that you're responsible for the society you create. So you better get to some understanding. Ask more questions, I wouldn't say she's wrong. I would want to know if her spouse has that info before the situation. Okay, the lady, right? What you say on married men playing games? Always. Always work and video games, even games that work on breaks on the phone. None else matters but work bills game. Well, it's not about the game. It's about, is everything else that you're responsible as a man being affected? Then you better pay attention. It could be you're jerking off. It could be you eat too much. It could be anything that you do at an addiction level that's going to affect the structure of your life. You got to pay attention to that, There are men that play games, but they also know the right time to do it. Their wife appreciates them taking some time off to play some games. The wife know when to say, babe, you don't mind? Can I talk to you? Babe, can you check this out for me? They know when to not bother them because he has enough in the love tank to get away with that, you know? So you're supposed to be viral all that? No. If I want to be viral, I'll start cursing out women or cursing out men. Then I'll go viral. But you know, what I'm doing here has a larger purpose than going viral. So we'll take our time. Anything that's worthwhile takes time. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Not a spanking. Communicating that to my spouse. Yeah, let's do it. That shouldn't be his first time knowing I need space. Yeah, so what I've seen a lot of examples that I handle. In fact, one of the counseling that I did today, one of the sessions I had today, what I've seen a lot of the time is that men are completely oblivious naturally. Okay, it's not the man's fault. Again, it's not a woman. To what's going on with the woman. So even when you're saying certain things and you may be complaining about certain things, you may even say you need space, and I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know what that means. Like the first time I understand what a woman means by what she means by I lost myself. The first time I heard that, it's not the first time she said it actually, but it's the first time I actually heard it. That's because things were becoming chaotic and the marriage was falling apart. But because I've hit that rock bottom, I'm starting to pay attention. I'm like, lost yourself? What the hell does that mean? You start doing a little bit of Google here and there. Guess what happens? I start to see a bunch of women. It's like they all had a meeting and they were using the same language. And then what did I do? I was like, there must be something to this. There must be something. What does that mean? I need to know what the hell does that mean, right? But what do most men do? Is like, she's saying shit that don't make sense, right? Like, that don't make any sense. You're a wife. Just do what you're supposed to do. That's what they do, right? But that doesn't help you, because you as a man, you will be questioned directly or indirectly for your home falling apart. And she will go up into La La Land and celebrate and say she's graduated from a marriage of 14 years because after all, I found happiness. And guess who's going to hurt still the most in this society? You! So while you're stuck on...
You're right.
So men, we pay attention to results, okay? Results, we pay attention to results, and we adjust accordingly because we need better results. We don't worry about whose fault is unless we're trying to, fix it. Sometimes in a place of business, which is a terrible analogy, like I said earlier, you're saying, okay, you're the one that's causing trouble here. It could actually be a manager. If the manager end up firing everybody else, you gotta look at the leadership, right? If it's a situation you want to, the bottom line is that you assess things first. You don't make decisions hastily off of your feelings. You assess it particularly because you don't want to make decisions off of feelings, Thank you, Lady J, Just J, Lady Navarre. Thank you. I appreciate you, ladies. Thank you. You know what they will say? They will say, I'm pandering to you all. But I promise you, the right ones are listening. So don't worry about this, okay? I had to ask if he was married, because I'm married. How he was speaking was like he had a spouse. So I asked, and he do so. So that's dope. Sahil, SB, Bolo, BMU. Yeah, those are my people. I've been rocking with Ola from live chats. There's a small handful of men on YouTube I respect. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you, ladies. All right, so I'm going to play some videos. I'll play some videos. All right. Let's see. Thank you for all the sharing. I'm looking at your comments. They definitely talk different in the DMs, and then they expect you to treat them different, right? I know all their secrets, all of the secrets. What's up, Wrench? Oh my guy, thank you so much, Wrench. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I see That's see that right there. Thank you so much. The fact that the first lady feels she carried more of a burden than the leader of the free world says a lot. A WW would never. Yeah, but it's a feeling, you know, and the feeling is all real, because she's going to, everything else you want from her is going to reflect that, you know. She, even if she wants to do better, but if she's feeling terrible, you know, it's going to reflect. And there's nothing you can do. Those moments are going to come, and it's not about crisis not happening to a man. It's about how he handles crisis. As a matter of fact, you don't really become a man until you learn how to handle crisis. Okay? So, some are in a place where they feel more comfortable in their pain. That's why certain convos happen over and over. Yes. That's why I have empathy and patience, and I've learned a lot just listening to the manosphere in the last 2 to 3 years. Because I came off very hard, because I'm like, what the fuck are men complaining all over the place for? But these days, I still kind of drag them, but a little bit of dose of empathy here and there. I can relate with them too. If I haven't had certain experiences, it's just hard to relate with people if you don't have experience, you know, regardless of how many books you've read, you know. So, but I know a woman, right? A woman is going to be a woman, period, right? And that's exactly what she needs to be. Because the same thing that you resent the most is probably what attracted you. The fact that she's a beautiful creature, feminine, don't give a shit about no one's feeling. It's just there. It's just beautiful, right? But when you end up on the receiving end of that, meaning when complacency, we call it see finish, enter. When you start to take things for granted, and obviously she's taking things for granted as well, that's going to feel a little different. And naturally, you will overreact a few times. Okay? Some people are lucky to overreact and still keep their home together. Some people are going to end up in divorce court. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad, you know. So, not taking care of home, appreciate what your spouse do. Yeah, the appreciations, when you getting into that space where you appreciate each other, does not fall out of the skies. Okay, people can be in love for a short period of time. Eventually, that moment is coming where they take each other for granted, and then they have to rebuild everything from the foundation up. Some people will go start all over with somebody else. Then they realize they have to do the same work. It's like war, right? The same negotiations that they asked you to do in the beginning is exactly what's going to end the war. So you might as well learn how to do it properly. Negotiations, right? But negotiations in a romantic context sometimes can feel like you're getting the short end of the stick. But that's again because you're caught up in your emotions. Okay? As a woman, here's what I tell you. You have massive amount of power. Okay? When you don't try to compete with that man. Okay? If you are in a space where society is teaching you that you can be all by yourself, you got to be careful with that. You will hurt yourself. Nature does not work like that. I'm sorry. Okay? Nature is undefeated. The only thing that's going to happen is that there will be a lot of casualties, single people all over the place at 50, 60, and now suddenly they start to marry each other. They'll figure it out, okay? But then it'll be too late to have, to multiply yourself, your bloodline. But you'll figure it out, okay? But the idea that you're going to defeat nature, you're going to swim against the trend and not drown, you're deceiving yourself. Either you're a man or a woman, okay? All right, so I'm going to play some videos, some funny videos, and then we'll circle back to, and then we'll round off, okay, in a few minutes. Because I think there's some hilarious videos here. We already covered this. I'm going to get rid of that.
I agree that everything in the relationship should be 50-50.
All right, so let's listen to this.
I fully understand why women wouldn't want to go 50-50 in a relationship, but that conversation can start to contradict itself real quick. One of the arguments I always hear is if a man is looking for a 50-50 relationship, then he's looking for a roommate. Then couldn't a man turn right back around and say if a woman is looking for a sole provider when she is 100% capable of helping, that she's just looking for a father? It's kind of crazy.
Why would a man do that? Why would a man engage that conversation? Oh, I know why. Because a man started a conversation in the first place. A man was asking for 50-50. So even when he collect woto, that means when he attracted that masculine energy, what does he feel the need to do? Oh, let me engage more of my feminine energy. What aboutism? What aboutism? Let me argue with the woman. Oh yeah, let me just argue more. Yeah, that's why. What you're doing is much more powerful than what you say. Because what you're saying, there's a good chance you're right, as usual. There's a good chance if we put them in the test of scaling right and wrong, you're probably right. Because you know everything. But the result you're going to create, you're going to attract more masculine women. And you're going to blame it on her. Right?
Because the idea of any kind of financial help while you're in the relationship is a no-go, but it's okay for you to take 50% when you leave it in the divorce.
While we're talking about divorce with the person I'm romantically involved in, it sounds to me like the relationship is already bad. Shouldn't you be walking away from a bad relationship if you're really that strong? Oh no, you're needy. You won't have to stay there in the name of duty and responsibility, right? While you argue toxic every day. You think that's gonna last? Really? Yeah, it's not. Okay? This is only cute on TikTok. In real life, which by the way, you're going to bring that TikTok energy to real life, by the way, you're gonna hurt yourself. Okay?
And that's kind of a sexist law when you think about it, because it kind of implies that the woman is not even...
Since when did men start complaining about sexist? It's getting worse and worse, isn't it?
capable of making the money on her own anyway. And a lot of women say, well, I pay all the rent and the bills and stuff in my household right now by myself, so what do I need a man for?
She's asking, what do I need a man for? Because if she's paying all the bills, like she's 2022, that's true. She doesn't need you for that part. She still needs you to provide emotional safety and security. But guess what happens? No, you're just going to do whataboutism. So you're in an argument with her about 50-50? Are you serious?
Well, I'm pretty sure before a man meets you, he is cooking and cleaning and getting sex without being in a relationship. So what does he need a woman for? What you think if...
Is that realistic? What do you need a woman for? Right? Let's even say the women are being disingenuous because they need a man too, right? We all know that. That's a fact. For majority of women at least, right? But what are you going to do? We're just going to generalize and whataboutism our way out of this conversation, effectively staying in it. Right?
A woman is not there to cook his dinner every day. He's going to starve to death. Do you think his house is just not going to get cleaned and he's going to wilt away? He's living in a fucking dungeon if you're not there to clean it? No, he's surviving just like you're surviving. The idea that you will turn down any financial help if it doesn't take care of 100 of the financial issues is crazy. It just sounds like you going into a restaurant and a lady is like, hey, how you doing? I got a coupon that...
You see how he just made an analogy of a restaurant? A coupon? Is that the same thing as a romantic relationship? If that doesn't work, he will bring in the boss and the job. If that doesn't work, he will bring in, what if you go to a car dealership and you want to buy a BMW?
I can take care of...
you have no idea.
Here you go. And you like, nah, fuck that. If it ain't a coupon that's going to take care of 100% of my meal, I can pay for the whole thing myself. That is crazy to me. I don't...
Why is that crazy? It's coupon. But it's crazy in romantic relationships, right? Right? Well, I'll tell you like this. If a woman is talking about 50-50, it's because a man is asking for 50-50. That's usually the reason. That's what the pushback was about. Okay? And here's what I'll tell you the reality. A lot of women actually pay more than 50 in a real marriage. And then they don't. And it's just their situation. It could be temporary. It could be permanent. Okay? The only time you hear about it is if the marriage falls apart. right? And then you will hear it as an anecdotal experience. The person will become a big YouTuber. And then put a whole echo chamber together of people whining about the same shit for 3 years.
No. For all 12 of y'all that's gonna view this, don't come for me. This is just my fucking opinion.
Well, own your opinion with your full chest now. What is wrong with this, guys? Okay, nonetheless, he has one more video.
Oh, y'all knew she was gonna say that shit too? Yeah, we all.
What?
You are in a relationship with a man and you're going 50-50 on the bills.
Roommate. That's what she was gonna say? Oh, y'all knew she was gonna say that shit too?
So now the man in his place is finishing the sentences of the woman, right? I know what she's gonna say. He's sassy, right? How did we get here, gentlemen? How did we get here, right?
Yeah, we all knew she was gonna say that shit.
Now this guy's a young man. He's probably 23. Like, what's his name? What's the name of that passport bro guy? He's probably 23. He doesn't know shit about life, right? But life will show him. It's okay. Let's keep it going.
Let me try to explain why this concept will just keep becoming more unfair for the guy. Okay, so since the beginning of the time, the woman's job is to take care of the house and the kids, and the man's job is to protect and provide by any means, right? So let's take 1970 when our grandparents was younger, right? When they was coming.
All right, let's just keep that. It's bullshit. He's going to tell you that cooking stone or rocks in water is never going to cook. That's what it's going to do. That's all it's going to do. It's lame behavior. Okay, that's all it's going to do. Let me go to the next one.
And you're going 50-50 on the bills. That is your roommate. These men.
Listen to this. If I take care of all the bills in the household, does that make you my child? If I take care of you and you have no responsibilities in the household, does that make you a freeloader? If I'm taking care of everything in the household and you freeloading off me, we shouldn't be in a relationship together. Because clearly you just an extra bill in the house. If I can do everything on my own and you don't want to do nothing, why do I need you? I don't understand some women's logic. What can you bring to the table as a woman if I'm doing everything and taking care of everything in the household? Ooh.
Okay, I need to play this.
Great. Good luck with that.
I'll be good luck.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna have to cut this. I'm gonna cut this and use it all the time. This part right here. I can't. Alright, let's play another one.
Always screaming. I ain't dealing. This is for the women who always screaming. I ain't dealing with no man that's doing 50-50. Now I'm an 80-20 man myself, but I'm gonna apply these same standards. What do y'all be doing with y'all money when a man is footing the majority of the financial bill? Because if both of us got a little hustle going on, getting to the bag a little bit, does that mean you just get to mismanage your funds and do what you want to do when you want to do it with your funds? Or are you sewing that back into the relationship? Because I feel like if it's an 80-20 situation and we done came to some kind of agreement or we done had some kind of conversation, I think that should be like a teamwork situation. If he get into the bag and he taking care of everything, that means you can sit on the other side and maybe sew into a business, stack some bread. But I feel like when most women say that, they feel like my money is my money and his money is our money. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just answering the question. I don't know.
Tell them, woman, go Yoruba ni rani. But now I have to speak out my mind.
Oh Lord.
Yoruba sọ pé sùúrù.
That right there is a man trying to cook rock until it cooks, until it becomes soft. All right. Again, they make all the sense in the world, but it doesn't translate to real life. Okay. Now, in real life, if you are a man who makes sure you're able to pay your own bills, you're able to take care of one other person and a few other people. If you're that kind of man and then she happens to make her money, first of all, you will know exactly what she's doing with her money. The only time you will know exactly what she's doing with her money is you're bitching about it and she doesn't feel safe and secure, right? And it's just gonna... Now, the other time, I said the only time, but there's one time. The other time is if she's a terrible, terrible woman. Yes, you're right, they exist, but they are the minority. It's not majority of women, okay? Majority of women would be open. Babe, you know, since I'm making all this money and you cover the bills, I'm thinking maybe we can do this, do that. You know. And some men, the only time they start to pay attention is when the woman starts to feel terrible in the relationship and she's now building a house in Nigeria without the consent or without the knowledge of the husband. And then it's like, where did that come from? Why are you building a house? And then he forgets all the time when he's sounding like this guy right here. right? If you take this energy right here,
standards. What do y'all be doing with y'all money when a man is footing the majority of the financial?
if you take that energy to you're paying the bills, if you do that enough times, you're probably going to create certain type of vibes. Okay, there's a good chance that's not the only topic where you act that way. There's a good chance that you're completely lame and you don't pay attention to how your energy is being multiplied around your lifestyle. Okay, so hey, I'm just saying something to pay attention to. Let's play this.
I pay for dinner. If he pays for the movie tickets, I will buy snacks. If he buys me shoes, I'll get him a nice suit. If he's having a rough day, I'll help him out. Stop expecting him to treat you like a queen while you are not treating him like a king. Remember, a relationship goes both ways.
All right. All of that she just said.
Oh, you're right.
She makes sense. But if there's an active crisis in your marriage, is that the time to stop sending this video in a text message to her? Right? You see, again, real life examples. In real life, there's a crisis going on. And you're like, I need to ask her. Then you send her the first video, you're like, I should know where all your money is going, right? But actually, that's not the issue. That's a symptom of the issue. There are other underlying things going on, starting with the fact that she doesn't feel safe and secure. What is it that's going on in your relationship that's making her not feel safe and secure? Could it be just you? She just doesn't like you? Because you could say that too. We could run with that to the bank. Because, hey, we can deposit that. Or we could say, oh, wait, we haven't been in a good place. Maybe we can address the actual issues first before you're asking for 50-50 because you just got stuck. You just mismanaged your own money. Right? Is anything wrong with 50-50 by itself? No, it's the mindset. It's a mindset thing. Because there's a good chance. Remember that story that I just read to you? There's a good chance that you're asking for 50-50 in many, many other ways. You're competing with your woman. So she's treating you like equal. Right? She's treating you like a woman. That's probably what's going on. Let's go.
I'm not working right now, so.
But it still shouldn't.
Nah, let's save that. Let's see. I have other videos. I have another video. I have many more, but I don't think I can get through all of them. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to a setup. This I'm about to play for you, gentlemen, is a setup. This is not the reality. If this conversation of 50-50 ever come up in your relationship, it's probably because something bad is going on, not the 50-50. And if you go on TikTok and you listen to this kind of woman, you're going to set yourself up for failure because she's going to make you feel like the grass is greener on the other side, and it's not. The grass is only green where people are watering it, or maybe it's just fake. You know, chameleon, like, you know what I mean? Right? Maybe it's just fake, okay? Synthetic, okay? Meaning stale. It doesn't move like, you know how soft breasts move, jiggy, like you can feel there's life in it. And you know the one that feels like a rock. You know you enjoy the natural one better, right? But let's play this one. Let's see what she says.
Is that another woman law? We don't do 50-50 because I don't mind doing 50-50. If my man not in a position to where he can pay all the bills, guess what? Guess what, sweetheart? Honey is going to help her man because, bitch, that's my man. And I'm not about to sit here and let my man struggle trying to pay all the bills because I don't want to. If I'm in a position to where I can help my man, I'm going to help my man. Bitch, that's my man. I'm not about to watch him struggle. So, yeah, 50-50, what's wrong? I don't see what's wrong with that.
Isn't she right? Isn't she lovely? She's right. But if she ends up in a romantic relationship with you and some things have transpired and she doesn't feel safe and secure, can she keep up with this attitude? So if you have a wife at home and she's not speaking like her, you're going to set yourself up for failure by taking this energy back to your household, as opposed to dealing with the underlying issue, which you probably don't know, but that means you have to be patient to find out, right? That's why I call her a setup, not intentionally. She doesn't mean any harm. She's just advocating for men. She's just trying to help men. She's empathetic. She's giving you PT. Men, when you get into a space where women start to give you PT, that's not necessarily a good thing. Even though it could be coming from a place of good intentions. You gotta be careful with that.
I guess that's another woman law that we not supposed to do that type of thing. But unless my man come to me and he like, babe, I got this. I don't need you to pay nothing. I just want you to look pretty, do how you do, make sure you take care of me when it's time to take care of me, take care of the house, whatever. Then that's a different story. I'm not about to be worried about doing no 50-50. But if my man not in that position, and I know for a fact my man is not in that type of position to pay all the bills, I'm not going to be expecting him to pay all the bills. And no, I don't mind.
Unless you're not mad at him. A woman is a woman, gentlemen. Unless for some weird reason, even when it has nothing to do with him, you're mad at him. Even if you're a good woman. And then you get caught up in your emotions. And you're like, I ain't about to do that. He made me mad. Right? This is a setup. Don't fall for it. A woman, your woman is going to be a product of how you move, gentlemen. 100% of the time. You want to put yourself in a position where you take credit for how feminine, how submissive, how trustworthy your wife is. You don't want to be in a position where you're like, oh, she did all that. That's going to make you feel like less of a man. You're going to become like a bitch anyway. You're going to act out of place. She's going to feel the need to fill that gap. It's a vicious cycle. She'll become masculine. And it's just not sustainable. She can do it temporarily. It could be a temporary thing. It's just not sustainable. Don't fall for this. She means no harm. Don't get me wrong. But don't fall for this. Okay? Let me see. Let's see if we can get a couple other ones. I'm not going to let my man struggle. I will not let my man struggle. All right. Let me play, let's see. Let's play this one.
Opinion you have that might piss some people off.
I can fully understand why women wouldn't want to.
Oh, no. We're not dealing with this guy again. All right. So let's play, okay. Let's play a couple last ones. Let me just see what's here. I think, okay. Let's play this one.
That needs a woman to pay rent and that acts like he cares about what you do, he's probably the wrong dude. You're going to end up in a masculine frame and you're not going to be able to respect him and respect.
You're going to end up, ladies, any man who asks you to do 50-50, he's absolutely right. Okay? Eventually, you're going to want to protect him too. That's literally what feels like masculine on the other end. Okay?
Any guy that needs a woman to pay rent and that acts like he cares about what you do, he's probably the wrong dude. You're going to end up in a masculine frame and you're not going to be able to respect him.
You can't respect him. And a woman that can't respect you cannot be in love with you.
Respect equals love. If you can't respect him, you will not love him. You could hate him and respect him and be happy. No man wants a woman that he cannot save from a castle and a dragon. If I feel like that you're providing everything for me, now I'm the in the tower. And that's just...
He's not going to feel right eventually because the natural course of things will start to raise it and it's just bad. It's just terribly bad. Okay? Let's skip that. You get the gist on that. Let me play this for you. Let me play this. All right.
Every relationship should be 50-50. I buy a house, she makes it a home. We have children, I provide, protect, and clothe them. She teaches them and nurtures them. Groceries become meals. See, that's the only thing that goes 50-50. There will never be a time that a woman should be paying the bills and taking on the burden of providing. That's a man's job. A woman does everything else that's needed in that relationship to make these things work even better. If I give her money, she saves. You understand what 50-50 means? Fucking bozos.
You know what the Manosphere did with this guy? They dragged the shit out of him. Men don't like being held accountable. They don't like it. We used to know that women are like that, but men don't like it. They called him a simp. He did a skit. I guess he gave money to women. He said he would give money. They completely took him out of context, you know. But if you listen to what he just said, it's about the fact of the natural order of things, which is a woman is an incubator, biologically, mentally, spiritually, in every sense you can think of, right? That's all he's saying. He called it 50-50 in the beginning because, again, it's all semantics. It's stupid. Okay, that's just all it is. But let's see what another man has to say about him. Let me play that for you. Let's see what another man has to say about him. Actually, I think it's more like a younger man, but so it makes sense. A lot of these guys, they have to learn the hard way before they come back in and adjust. And that's okay, you know.
Relationship should be 50-50. I buy a house, she makes it a home. We have children.
To break it down in this video, he's basically saying that I don't want my lady having to pay bills or do anything like that. I want to be able to provide for her lifestyle. Now, I think that's all good and all, but I feel like as a real man, you should never want your woman to rely on you for anything.
Did he just say as a real man? This nigga, he barely has facial hair. He's not as a real man, but let's keep going.
I want my woman to be independent. I want her to be a go-getter. I want her to have her own hustle and her own bag. Because then we can come together and make that bag even bigger. But I don't want nobody that has to depend upon me for everything, when at the end of the day, we should both be working hard to build something for both of us.
Did you hear we should both be? Women are saying it too. But you hear more men saying we should both be. Mindset. There's nothing wrong with what he's saying. It sounds cute on the surface. But when you bring that actual energy, that means any moment you feel, which is feel is not necessarily reality. Any moment you feel like you're both not bringing equal, you act out of place. You start overreacting. You get caught up in your emotions. Because your mindset in the first place is that we should both be. So I tell people, like, listen, you go into a relationship to give. If you don't feel like giving to this person, cut them loose. There are options out there that will eventually make you feel like you can give to them without all this unrealistic expectation. Because sometimes people fall apart. Things are going to fall short sometimes. That's a reality. It's inevitable. So every time you feel like things fall short, you're going to be like, but we should both be. Like then you have all these veins on your neck about to pop out. We should both be. And he talked about a real man.
Empire.
The oxymoron.
There's a lot of times where ladies...
The contradiction.
Don't know how to pay their own rent, pay their own credit card bills, do anything on their own. All because they let a man provide that for them. Me personally, that's not what I want. I want my lady to be able to know how to do all that stuff on her own, and we all come together to make it work.
That's cap. That's definitely cap.
Stop the cap.
Yeah. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no experience. It sounds good in theory. It makes sense in theory. In reality, that's going to fall all the way apart.
She's be independent. I want her to be able to build up and work for her own stuff. Because at the end of the day, let's say something doesn't work out, I still want her to be the most successful, smartest, hardworking motherfucker there could be, even if I'm not in the picture.
Stop the cap.
I could smell the breast milk on his breath. Let's play some real men that know what the hell they're talking about. I'll play 3 for you, and then we'll call it a day. Okay? I'll play 3 for you. The third one is going to be a question. Then I will adjust it, because he's generalizing a little bit. Then I'll adjust it.
Marriage is not 50-50. It has never been 50-50. It will never be 50-50. I'm going to hold up a card, and I'm going to show you what marriage is. Marriage is 85-15. 85 to the woman and 15 to the man. And let me explain something to you. The reason a woman is in charge of the house is because they know more about it. They know the kids' schedule. They know your schedule. They know the bills. They know where everybody goes. They take care of vacations. They run everything in the house because they care about everything. You a dude.
You're a dude.
Know about your job. You don't know that.
All right, so you know what they're gonna do with this video. They're gonna turn around and call him a simp. Why? Because he's saying something that makes sense to women. Maybe that's what you should be learning how to learning what to do. But anyway, let's keep going. We're just gonna cut. We don't care about what women think. All right, good. But we're just gonna do 12 hours live streams for 2 years. And no, you don't care about what women think. Make it make sense. Let's play one more Steve.
Women today have lesser choices. And it's really not the women's fault. They're just dealing with the residue that's left for so many fatherless homes. And so now you got young cats on the tape like up here. Yeah, I ain't got no problem staying home. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a woman got to pay for my food. Oh man, it's 50-50. It ain't 50-50. Partner, a relationship with a woman, with a wife, it's not 50-50. No. If you're married, it's 85-15. The woman get 85, you get 15. That's really the way it works. It requires a woman more money to dress, to take care of herself, to run the household. You're not really good at running the household. You don't know where the kids, you don't know when soccer practice is.
Where the kids at?
You ain't been to NAB, PTA meeting. You don't know nothing. You just ignorant.
All right, let's see. Let's see. One more here. Let me play this lady. Then I'll play one more right after that.
Official argument for 50-50 men. I was talking to a guy yesterday and he voiced that he wants a 50-50 relationship. He wants to get married, have kids, and have his wife work and make just as much money as him. He even said if he pays for a trip to Hawaii, he wants her to buy and plan a trip to Peru. It's 2022. That's what he said. Here's what I'm gonna say. Your wife is gonna have those kids. You claim you're gonna do 50% of the child work. Let's be real. There is no 50-50 with kids. 95% of the time, mommy will do 75% of the work at least. It's just natural. Kids want mommy. Let's talk about housework. Women just tend to be more clean than men. It's true. So your wife is probably gonna end up doing at least 60-70% of the housework just because she has higher standards than you. So where are we at in this 50-50? It seems like your wife is going to be doing a lot more than you. And yet you still want her to make just as much money and provide like you do. I have a feeling that this is why the highest divorce rates are in marriages where the women out-earn the man. Because there's no such thing as 50-50. 50-50 men just don't appreciate anything beyond money. They're not gonna notice when their wife is doing most of the housework and most of the child rearing. They're dumb. Here's how I think 50-50 guys can be happy in their relationships. Find women who are slobs and aren't maternal, who are gonna neglect their kids. Perfect! Now you got yourself a 50-50 relationship. Aren't you so happy now?
All right, so this video right here, he's generalizing a little bit. I'll adjust it. Let's keep going.
PSA to American men. I don't know if you realize that you're the only group of men in the world that literally argues about going 50-50, okay? Other groups of men understand that they are to be the main providers and in many times the sole providers financially in the relationship when it comes to bills, okay? For some reason, American men don't grasp this concept and they argue that they should be going 50-50 on the bills. I once had a talk with one of my African friends and brought up 50-50. He laughed at me and he said, 50-50, that's not a wife, or that is a roommate. You see, other group of men understand what respect in their house looks like. It's stability, okay? Y'all need to get with the program, man. Y'all behind. Come on.
All right. I think we've done that justice today, okay? The only thing I disagree with him is that this American group of people is anybody that's westernized. It's part of the effect, the downside of westernization, civilization. It's a correction. It will correct properly as time goes on. There will be casualties. A lot of men are going to have to buy a dog.
But you should still understand the words. In that 25-inch.
I gotta cut this up properly, you know. A lot of men will have to buy a dog, okay? A lot of women will have to buy a dog, okay? Before this corrects itself. It's a function of civilization. It's just men have time for bullshit, Okay, and then we create certain type of women as a society when that's happening. Okay, it is what it is, but that's where we are right now. But there are people in Nigeria, especially in the city part of Nigeria, that are starting to think this way. If they have access to internet, they're thinking this way. They are buying into the equality bullshit. Even when women are starting to adjust and saying things like, we don't mean equality, we mean equity. But you have men are catching up late and they're saying, we want equality, let's do 50-50. What do you bring to the table? Right? So, and it's chaotic. That's the result of what you see, because that's not the natural order of things. God said, God, men, women, children. Why? It doesn't mean children are under women. It just means they put things in order. Okay? So that we can have a society that's conducive for all of us. But we're reversing it. So when we're reversing it, it's okay. Natural order of things will correct itself. But there will be casualties. It's like somebody saying the market is about to crash, but just wait in there, it's just going to come back. No, some people are literally going to self-delete because they will lose a lot of money before that market comes back. It's not just that simple. There's going to be casualties anytime a market crash. Okay? So don't be the casualty. That's all I'm saying. You could make a lot of money even in a crashing market. So even in the midst of this dating scene, you could have an awesome love life. It's completely up to you. You could do massive exploits. Okay? You could do massive exploits. You could do a lot of good things in this scene where we are right now. Yes, even in spite of everything that's going on. Okay? So I just wanted to share that with you. Let me see let me round off with this, the free book is available, okay? And you can also sign up for coaching, okay? If that's what you want. But let me see what you all are saying. I want to round off with that. Just this says, agree with Mr. TikTok. Let me see here. I agree to that, but don't get it twisted. He won't let his wife lead him. Well, it's not a matter of letting a woman lead you. The question is, are you leading? If you're not leading, she will become masculine and lead. Okay? We don't wait for women to allow us to lead. We don't let a woman lead. We fall short in our leadership and then somebody has to lead, just naturally. It's the same thing. If a woman is being a single mother and she stopped leading in that household, the children will take over. Again, something has to bring in the structure, safety, security, order. Something has to. Right? In a household where there's a man and woman, we prefer that it's the man, because everything else kind of like align properly when you do it that way, right? He won't let his wife lead him. I follow him, and when he speak like that, they turn it around. Yeah, they flip it, exactly. He's not a punk. Thank you, Lady Navarre, for saying that. He's not a punk. He's speaking within certain type of contexts. It really goes back to that happy wife, happy life thing, It's easy for the lames to take it out of context, or those that haven't gotten there, because thank you for having my brother like Quincy here, who's willing to listen long enough to say, you know what, that makes sense, right? The lames, they're not that patient. They would have called me a simp before they get to that point, right? Say he is simp. His wife take care of him. He appreciates her. No, that's bullshit. He's a man, and that's obvious. Let's see. Nope. Most men be like, babe, wear my blue shirt. Wear my shoes. Exactly. Wear my my tick. I heard that on 85 South. That's funny. I used to watch 85 South. Those guys are stupid. I used to watch that. I haven't watched that in like 3 years or so. Judge J said this is all BS. Well, I don't know what I was playing at that time. You didn't agree? I'm not sure what it was we were playing at the time. Beyonce said it will rule the world. That can easily be taken out of context too. I don't take that serious. If a young lady as fine, as beautiful as Beyonce, she said rule the world in the song, like, dude, I'm not taking that. It's not that deep. Okay? And yes, is it possible that some young ladies are taking that out of context and misbehaving on IG? Yes, but I don't know those people. They're not in my world. I'm sorry. So I couldn't sit down for 12 hours speaking about something that's not in my immediate world, right? Not necessarily true, man. My place a mess at the moment. Well, for the most part, if you're a typical woman, you know more about the household than the men in that house, okay? And yes, there are some exceptions, but hopefully they figured it out and it's not a problem. If it's a problem, then something needs to adjust, all right? These men want to be kept. No, they're speaking to the household, okay? They're speaking to the household particularly. They're speaking to the men that want to compete only on the financial level with women, completely discounting the fact that women have to worry about so much more when it comes to the domestic household. And by the way, it makes our life easier as men. We get to focus on purpose, providing, protecting. We get to focus, we get to be at peace too, So it's not a bad thing, especially if you're a person that's comfortable. If you're not comfortable with that, then that's a different topic entirely, But I'll tell you, I know men that try to compensate for modern day, I'm going to help you clean diaper, and then they still come to find out that the woman is a woman, and then they're surprised that the woman is still a woman. Wait, after doing all this domestic stuff with her, she's still disrespectful. Like, dude, you're boring. It's dry down there. She doesn't respect you. But I help out with the kitchen chores. Like, you're missing the point. That's cute. You did that for yourself. In fact, she might turn around and say, that's bare minimum. Should I thank you for doing what you're supposed to do? Because you missed the point. We need specific stories to know what's really truly going on there. I wish I can share some clips that will blow your mind, sir. I'm just saying, shows how we so messed up and disconnected and disrespecting so much. It finally blew up. Yeah, like I said, I'm aware of what's going on. I spent most of my life here in America, so I'm aware. And some people like to say, "Oh, but Ola is married to a traditional Nigerian wife." That's cap. My wife is a Lagos chick. It's as modern as they come. You don't know what the hell you're talking about if you say that. But I figured something out, okay? I figured something out. Anyway, I hear that too, so I just laugh. Good job, sir. Keep him coming. And T for keeping Sir Hill alive. He was... Yeah, speaking of, I'm going to have Sir Hill here on the 28th. The topic is Corey, don't do it. So it's going to be kind of like part 3 to Tia Tamara. I'm bringing Sir Hill here, so make sure you're here. Make sure you tell the world on the 28th. I'll put that out, announce that tomorrow. All right, same time, 10:30. On the 28th, I think it's Monday. What's today? I'm not sure. Is that Monday or Sunday? Which one? Whatever 28th is, I'll put that out tomorrow. Didn't grasp the messages. People didn't grasp the message. They focused on the non-importance of what he was about and doing. Sorry, he was solid. He's solid. Good night, all. Cares by a dog and by alone. Classic and shown how to get the book. The book is on the screen. Just go to loveandprestige.com. Okay. Yeah, men don't wait, especially not for a woman. I'm sorry. Okay. Women follow naturally. If I have to generalize, that's what I would say. Women follow naturally, but they're not following a lack of vision. They're not following you if you lack vision. If you're lame, if you're arguing with a woman, if you're playing 50-50 with her, if you are playing equality with her, if you bought into the equality bullshit, she can't follow you. It doesn't make any sense. That's an oxymoron, bro. Okay? That's my shit. I follow Daily Wrap Up crew on here. Let me know what you think. Yeah, Daily Wrap Up crew, they're alright. Daily Wrap Up, oh yeah, they're young. They don't know anything. They're arguing semantics for the most part. That's cool too, I like them. I get entertained by them as well. I was just kidding. You know how I think by now, sir. Not in a delusion. No, you're good. You're good. Everyone is good here. Everyone the same. Sahara Desert. Just Jay gets it. I don't have to answer to anyone at the moment. It makes it different. Yeah. Trust me, when you find a man that you want to answer to, you will know. No one will teach you. Naturally, things will follow suit. Oh, that's what all I be telling those people. You need to hold them accountable because This is conditional femininity. Dude, it was always conditional, okay? It's the only source of unconditional love is God. That's why the first G in the GPS in the book is God. Humans are not capable of unconditional love, okay? So you need a higher self, a connection with the higher self in order to comprehend what it means to even love from an unconditional place. It takes patience, it takes experience. You have to fall flat on your face a few times before you listen to me. So that's okay too. You know, that's what I meant. Love and Prestige is on the screen. Love and Prestige. Let's see. I'm just making sure I cover everything before we leave. Wow, they ask ladies questions to hear their opinions. Oh yeah, they give more than enough of their opinions in between. They're young. Trust me. They're young. But yeah, Just Jay, Lady in the Void, shout out to you. Shout out to you for hanging out with me tonight. It makes the conversation that much more interesting. Chinye, I miss you. Bagavad, I miss you. Yvette, I miss you. Bro Patrick, I miss you. Make sure you let me know in the chat when you come back, you know. And hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.
Thank you.